Go Turtles. But yeah, there's no turtles in this match, so yeah. Moving on. um, Today we're back in the team division, and it's a matchup between Team Scream Queens and Team Gardenhosers. Yeah, this sounds like a match between two teams that just went through a name randomizer for their team name. So, random names, random expectations. Who knows who's going to win this match? But that being said, let's find out who does today on JTH Reacts to the Movie Trivia Schmoedown.
Out of time, so say goodbye. What is yours now is mine, and I dream broken dreams. I make them come true. I make them for you.
So before we get started, I'll give a quick thought on the free for all. Obviously, for anybody that knows, I was in the reaction with Take 3 for the free for all, so can't thank them enough. My overall quick recap thoughts on the free for all. First off, congrats to Brianne Chandler, Miss Free for All, Miss Movies, whatever she'll call herself now. I do wish they had done the elimination all the way through. That said, though, I do not think it would have changed the outcome. I do think Brianne would have won if that format had been used. So, yeah, I do kind of hope that is changed for next year, just so, for a person like Brianne, who many people probably didn't think would have won if they had used that format. I wish they would use that format so that they could prove that they would do it, because, like I said, elimination or just straight up victory, I still think Brienne would have won regardless of the format. So I would have liked to have seen her be able to prove that she could have done it. But with that being said, that's my overall quick thoughts on that. So without further ado, let's get into this match: Scream Queens versus Garden Hosers. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. I think I said Garden Hoses last time. Garden Hosers. How could I screw up such a name? So without further ado, let's do this. 3, 2, and 1.
Hey.
Oh, speaking of Miss Free For All,
I'm working on the Patreon, but always working on the Schmoedown Patreon. So.
Patreon.
What's up?
I don't know how you do it.
Probably just talking to me.
I don't know how I do it either, but hey, where have you been? Because I haven't seen you in like a long time.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I saw you for like 5 minutes at the free for all.
I know.
Ooh.
It kind of brings me right
Hey,
to the free for all.
Nothing he could do. He got knocked out by 5XXX5.
Supporting stuff because I've kind of been, off the radar.
And that swerve at the end.
Awesome.
Ooh.
I was just kind of throwing out there. People have been asking me, like, because they know we're kind of together, and
right.
What your plans are with it. You give any thought to it, or?
I've given some thought to it, but I don't really know right now.
Yeah, I just don't know what to tell people because they ask me, and they get like people.
Why don't they just ask me?
I don't know.
Okay, that's weird.
I don't know.
That's weird.
Well, I don't know. Because you're busy with this stuff. But, I think because they come up to me, they keep bringing up Inner Geekdom, and I don't know how it works. I don't know because I know you don't want to compete anymore.
Okay, wait, but are you asking me to give someone else a title shot for Inner Geekdom, or
no.
what are you? Okay.
No.
Oh.
I don't want to push you because I know you don't want to. I don't know if you want to compete. I don't, and I want to.
So
support
you're
you.
asking me for this title shot. That's what's happening.
No, I don't want it to be like that.
No, I just want to know because
I gotta get back in that, and
yeah, this is gonna get awkward.
I can take it, but I didn't know how it works, but because I don't know if you need to compete to go into it, but then they told me that you can give the belt to someone.
I could.
And do whatever. So I don't want to. I don't want to be that guy. But I just want to put it out there. Just putting it out there. If you want to do whatever you want, I will always support you. I'll be there. But if you don't want to compete, and I'd love a shot. I'd love to make you proud with it.
All right. Well, I'll put you on the list of people that are interested.
The list. Yeah. You just made the list.
Well, right now it's just you.
Okay. That's a good point. Yeah, I gotta go going. You heard about the Clark thing, right?
Yeah. You have a match with her? What's going on? I don't know anything.
She did her. I guess what she won with the manager bolt, and Clark wants to compete against me.
Okay.
I don't know.
When's that happening?
I don't know because you beat her, and I I don't know.
Well, I won't be there.
You're busy. You're
Okay.
busy. You're busy.
All right.
Um,
I'll see you later.
Anything if you want.
2 weeks or 3 weeks. It's one or the other. Yep, one of those awkward conversations.
How's it going, guys? If you didn't know about
How's it going,
Patreon,
Christian?
you guys have a chance to support the Schmoedown. Now, myself, Mark
Support
Ellis,
the
we're taking over
Schmoedown,
the production.
also known as
Basically,
put
you guys have
Tom
2
Dagneo
tiers to
in
choose
the
from. Which one to
commissioner's
give back
spot.
to the fans. Go right there. If you want to support the Schmoedown by becoming a patron today, go ahead and do it. Cannot thank you guys enough for all the support you've given us. And yeah, there's some really crazy tiers in there. I'd love to get your opinions on it. Now go enjoy the match. Go do it. It's a good match, for God's sakes.
Yes, sir. Here goes time for Schmoedown now. It's just drinking Gardenhosers. Yeah. Hey! Hello, Mark. Hello, Beast.
Boy, what a matchup, and what a guest I have commenting with me. The one, the only, the Beast himself is here, a very tame William Bibiani. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I am
They
good.
love
I
you.
am back. They have been instructed to applaud, and I appreciate that. I would appreciate it if
They
you
were
were intense
instructed
today, but
to
that's fine.
applaud.
That's fine. We'll just keep going.
It gets a little balmy here in the studio, and it's going to get hot on that there stage because we have the Gardenhosers going up against the Scream Queens. Some newbies here today. Speaking of newbies, thank you to all of our new and returning Patreon supporters. We love all our patrons out there. Check out the new tiers we have on the Schmoedown Patreon available right now. As you get into this match, William, you were once a new competitor in the league. You weren't always known as the Beast. You were an unknown quantity. That's what we get today in the team edition. What do you think about this matchup?
I think you could have phrased that without making me feel old. But since we're here anyway, this is always a real treat. It's a real treat. And you know what? Some of these people aren't as new as others. We have seen what Haley Fouch can do at the free-for-all. And yeah, she didn't last very long, but she actually had a really high
She
score
got 4
ratio.
out of 5 right. She just ran into a couple Titans named Ethan Irwin and somebody who I may be sitting next to.
I hate that guy. But yeah, no, there's a lot of talent that's going to be on the table here. Kaylin Corrigan, you know her from Birth Movies, Death, and Bloody Disgusting. She knows her stuff. They are experts in the horror genre. I can't wait to see what they got going here. I'm a little less familiar with this Thomas Ian Nicholas guy.
Thomas Ian Nicholas, he was in so many great movies of which you got them incorrect, famously on camera. But if you look at a film franchise like American Pie, how about the Chicago Cubs great Rookie of the Year? He is here today.
Oh,
He's teaming up
him.
with Matt Black. Now, Matt Black was a fan of the Schmoedown.
That
He
guy.
knew Thomas Ian Nicholas. He got him hooked on it. They play the app all the time. They reached out to the former commissioner, Christian Harloff, and said, hey, we think we
A
can give
former
this thing a run.
commissioner.
They get their chance here today. Are they going to be like the Chicago Cubs pre-2016 or post-2016?
Are they going to be heavyweights in this little big league?
Oh,
Will they
wow.
turn the screen
Oh.
into Angels in the outfield? I think that's a lot of trouble for everybody involved here at the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. I'm kidding, of course. Will they be the Rookies of the Year, or are they only kids in King Harloff's court? Let's find out. That's a real movie. All right.
William
Too
Bibiani,
many
when it
baseball
comes to
movies.
baseball movie references, you are
Will it
the
be a
best.
Field of Dreams, or will it be a League of Their Own, or will it be the Bad News Bears, or
a little bit? We'll see some of that.
any other one?
Let's bend it like Beckham.
Ah!
We're the Scream Queens, and we're here to kick some ass. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree.
We are the Gardenhosers, and I definitely don't think you should be afraid of us at all.
Well, hang on. We are the best at movie trivia you will have ever
You might be
seen.
the best, that's why you're my teammate.
Or that could be totally a lie. I don't know.
So I just made my debut in the Schmoedown free-for-all, and did not do quite as well as I was hoping. Don't get me wrong, I answered questions well, just happened to be in a tough round. So I'm looking to come in, prove myself a little better, recruited my dear friend Kaylin, who knows her shit, and we're good to go.
Do we have what it takes to become champions, Tom?
I
Perhaps.
think, listen, even a blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while. We could get lucky.
If we know more answers to the questions than the other team do, we have a good shot at winning this today.
Yeah, when I got the call about the Schmoedown, I pretty much said
Really?
"Yeah, I'm in." And then I went back and, I knew what it was, but I went back and watched some tapes and saw what the trivia was like, and I was like, oh, we got this. Yeah.
For me, it's all about round 3. And how random those questions are going to be.
And round 2.
We could get real.
Could be brutal.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about round 1.
And round
2.
1. Round 1. Oh.
No, I'm not worried about that. I've got you for, well, not really, because we're answering separately. And I don't know.
We don't know much about these guys. They're new to the league like us, and we're excited to see what they bring to the table, but we're more looking at them as the ticket to the next step in the game.
You're probably going to win.
He's probably going to win, but it's all right. We still love you.
Oh, we always loved you.
Another awkward conversation.
So you see those interviews, William, they're very classy towards each other, and the Gardenhosers kind of poking fun at themselves. Do you think that they're sandbagging a little bit? Do you think that they're just kind of acting like, oh, we don't belong here, but they're really lions waiting in the weeds?
I think that they are bad news bears. And
he's still trying it, folks. Let's root him on.
Oh man, American wedding. Let's move on. Should we go to the tail end of some sort of tape?
We should go to the last half of some. If it's fruit by the foot, it's the third foot, and we are going to the tail of the tape right now. Tell us some of the strengths of each one of these teams.
Okay, we have got the Gardenhosers. Their strengths are Disney movies, family films, and striking out people 30 years older than them. And of course, the Scream Queens. Their strengths are horror, new releases, and screaming, I guess. I mean, it'd be weird if they weren't.
Well, they are Scream Queens, and we want to hear you guys out there in the social media universe screaming along with this match. You can live tweet at your leisure. Just handle our new Twitter handle at the Schmoedown. Go ahead and follow that right there and tweet us at
Already
Schmoedown.
have.
Let us know
Thank
what you think about this match as it plays out. William, I'm feeling pretty good about this. How about you?
I'm feeling like one of the little rascals. Let's check it out.
Then it's time to Schmoedown!
Yay! Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the movie trivia showdown. I'll do it for you.
Throat of Christian G. Harloff, take it away.
Introducing first, making their Schmoedown debut, Matt and Thomas, the Gardenhosers.
Here comes Thomas and Nicholas. Oh, he's got the arm. He's got the arm. Rookie of the year. What's going to happen with it? That arm can throw heat.
Float it.
Oh, he's just going to softball it. There it is.
He's floated it. He's floated. Even I know that one.
Easing the crowd. And now here, Matt, with his version of a. Oh, it's a baseball card. It's a Henry Rose Gardner baseball card. Look at that rookie card.
If there are any Rookie of the Year questions, I think they might be on top.
More valuable than an 89 upper deck. Oh, but whoa, what was that? Some sort of magical trick played by Matt Black and Thomas Ian Nicholas. Is that how it went in rehearsal? We will never know. Will he saw Thomas in half if they win as they take their seats? I think only 2 words can sum up that intro, William. Funky and butt loving.
I believe in magic.
And now we are about to meet their opponents, the Scream Queens. Christian, if you would be so kind.
And their opponents, also making their Schmoedown debut, Haley and Caitlin, the Scream Queens.
And here comes the Scream Queens.
Where's the screaming? I want screaming. Scream, damn it. Scream.
And Caitlin, as you said, Haley, no stranger to the Schmoedown competition.
I was expecting lots of screams. I'm a little underwhelmed by that.
You guys came out and everybody seems settled and ready to go. I'm going to run you guys through the rules of round 1. In round 1, a question will be asked to the field. You're going to get 8 of them from 8 different movie categories. Each question is worth 1 point. There's no penalty for missing a question. There's no stealing in round 1. Once we ask you the question, simply write down your best attempt at an answer on the whiteboard in front of you. After a count of about 15 seconds, we'll ask you to reveal the answer. Please do not reveal your answer until your name is called. Once we call your name, please show your answer to the camera that you wrote down and verbalize it into the microphone in front of you. Keep in mind, each team has 3 usages of the JTE rule. That is allowed for people who need to hear the question again. And as I put William down, we have 1 challenge for each team. Shh, don't wake the William. It's time for the Schmoedown! Who's excited?
Yay!
Let's get this thing going.
Why are those rules so long?
All right. Gardenhosers, are you ready?
Let's play ball.
We're ready.
All
Scream
right.
Queens, are you ready?
Yep, we are ready.
Crowd, are we ready to Schmoedown?
Crowd.
There we are. All right. William will kick off the questioning in round 1. What is their first category?
The
sir?
first category is animated. These are films that are animated. And the question is, what is the name of the inflatable healthcare robot in Disney's Big Hero 6?
Oh, I've seen that once.
Already a scoff that we have up on the desk from.
I'll just
the
make some
animated
fake
category.
name that
The animated category of the
would
question
sound
is
like it
scoff.
could
We'll
be in
never
an
know.
animated movie.
5,
Someone might have just had
4,
something.
3,
No,
2.
I'm gonna
1.
say
Pens down, please.
Bobo.
Kaylin.
I don't know. I put Big Hero.
It is not
it's
Big
not Big
Hero.
Sorry, didn't begin with the letter B.
Go to Matt.
Baymax.
It is Baymax for a point. Haley.
Oh,
Baymax.
Certainly is, and Thomas.
I don't even really want to show my answer. Do I have to show this? All right,
It would
good.
be good sportsmanship.
He's not going to show his. It's that bad. We are tied at
come on
3.
now. I
Let's
showed
move
Bobo.
on to the next category in the
Could have
world
been
of
that, unless you put
comedies.
Jackass.
Robert
I
De
get it.
Niro plays a bounty hunter in charge of escorting an embezzler to Los Angeles in which 1980s action comedy? All right, some
How much would you pay for me as like a bounty?
as a bounty?
Yeah, if I went missing, like what would you?
I'd give a healthy amount of Sizzler coupons for your safe
Can you
return.
can you repeat
We
the?
certainly can do that.
Yeah.
One
That
JTE
is what
rule.
JTE rule in the books. Robert De Niro plays a bounty hunter in charge of escorting an embezzler to Los Angeles in which 1980s action comedy?
Are we saying like a 10% off coupon or like a buy one get one free? Or
And we go to 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pens down, Matt.
Well, it's not right. Raging Bull.
It is not Raging Bull. A
You
little
were
darker
right
than
about it
that.
not being right.
Haley Fouch
I do not have it.
does not have it. Does Thomas?
I think hopefully the second word's right. Midnight Run.
Got it.
Oh,
Point. We hear his
It's
fan.
Midnight
Kaylin,
Run.
did you have the answer?
I do not.
She does not have it, so now the Gardenhosers take an unlikely early lead here, 2-1 over the Scream
They
Queens.
have Midnight Run away with 1 point. Thank you. Thank you.
The crowd
I get to
divided
be
on
at the
that
desk now.
I liked it.
Thank you very much. The next category is dramas. These are films that are dramas. For as long as he could remember, what did Ray Liotta's Henry Hill want to be in Goodfellas?
You remember what you wanted to be when you were a little kid?
I wanted to be a veterinarian ninja.
Veterinary ninja.
Yeah,
Karate
ninja by
kick.
day, veterinarian by night.
Oh, you do the vetting at night. That's nice for emergencies. 5,
Exactly.
4, 3.
I always wanted to be a
1.
good
Pens
fella.
down. We go to Haley first.
A mobster?
That is.
We cannot
Cannot accept that. Needed the
Sorry,
exact
sorry.
verbiage. Unfortunately, does Thomas have it?
Oh man, no, but I'm gonna say it anyway. A cop.
He did not want to be a cop. Did not want to be a cop. Does Kaylin have it?
Exact opposite. Kellen, what you got?
You always wanted to be a gangster.
That is correct. So close to mobster,
I
but we
was
couldn't
convinced it was ballet dancer.
It is not a ballet
You only
dancer.
wrote down Ballet Dan, and I would love to see Ray Liotta in a movie called Ballet Dan. I think that's a great film.
So we
I watched
see early
too
on
much
the
Good
teams here
Feathers
kind of
on
feeling each other out,
Animaniacs to
throwing the jab,
remember
getting
what it
their feet
was.
set, a lot like a great boxing movie or an 80s action comedy, Raging
As long
Bull.
as I can
We move on
remember,
to
I always
horror
wanted to be a
thriller
good
is your
fella.
next category. Horror thriller could be an advantage here for the Scream Queens.
Well, I hope so.
Which 1972 thriller is famous for its dueling banjos scenes? Dueling banjos.
That guy's gonna do a
Oh,
lot of damage.
Banjo. You ever hear Steve Martin play the banjo?
I've
It is
seen him-
delightful.
I've seen him play the banjo while fireworks were shooting out of the banjo. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Deliverance.
Crazy into the Bibiani house. And 1. Pens down. Thomas, you're up first.
Deliverance.
It is Deliverance. For
Yay.
Does Kaylin have have it as well?
Deliverance.
She certainly does. Going to Matt.
Thank the Lord Tom's on my team, because I don't know movies like I thought.
Does not know Deliverance, does Haley.
Deliverance.
It's enough to give them the lead.
Yay!
Live up to their name.
4-3 as we move on to the next category, number 5.
The category is action/adventure.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Sure. Who plays the father of Benjamin Gates in the family adventure film National Treasure?
Those are adventure movies more than action movies. There is a distinction between action and adventure, as I'm sure you'll...
An adventure is a movie with the action.
Well, we'll get back to that. 5, 4, 3, 2...
Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. Who plays the father of Benjamin Gates in the family adventure movie National Treasure?
K1's JTE rule bought you 5 more seconds to explain the difference between action-adventure movies, and as I set you up for it, I realized that we're now back out of time. 5, 4, 3...
You're the national treasure here, man.
2, 1... Pens
James
down.
Woods.
Kaylin, did you have it?
No, I wrote Chris Plummer.
It is not Chris Plummer, though he is a good veteran actor. Matt Black.
The father of Angelina Jolie, John Voight.
It certainly is. No points for knowing the lineage, but we give him a point for the correct answer. Haley Fouch.
I had it wrong. I said Sean Connery.
It is not Connery. Does Thomas have it for the lead?
John
Got
Voight.
it!
Very
John
nice.
Voight is right. There's no H in his first name. Doesn't matter, Thomas. You'll fix it next time.
Can we just stop here? Can we call it here while we're in the lead?
You can take a picture of the scoreboard, but we do move on
We gotta
to
move on with this John Voight movie trivia lead.
our next category is in the world of directors. These are people that have successfully directed a feature film. Name
At
the
least
actress
once.
that made her solo directorial debut in 2017 with the acclaimed film Lady Bird. And a groan goes over the audience there. It seems that they have recent memories, good short-term memory, not a lot of weed smokers.
It was a film that came out recently that was good.
Go to 5,
So they know
4,
it.
3,
They,
2, 1. Pens
find
down.
out.
Meryl
I
Streep.
have nothing.
ooh.
He doesn't have it. Does Haley Fouch have
Haley.
it?
Greta Gerwig.
Greta
It
Gerwig
certainly
got
is.
the
We're
first
tied as of right now. Thomas
I had nothing. My brain malfunctioned.
didn't have it. They could get the lead if K1 has it.
Greta Gerwig.
She's got it.
Oh, this is one of the most topsy-turvy roller coaster first rounds I have ever seen this week.
Lead changes around, and I'm sure we're hearing about it on our new
Sweet.
Twitter feed at the Schmoedown. Second to last, the penultimate round 1 category is.
All right, your category is fantasy/sci-fi. These could be fantasy films. They could be sci-fi films. They're not slashers, so it was a bit misleading. Who plays linguist Louise Banks in Arrival?
Though there could be slashing in a fantasy sci-fi movie. It's just not the
theoretically.
primary
Louise
attraction. to go.
Banks.
There have been overlaps, if you will.
The Venn diagrams.
Yeah, and there's right in the
I
middle.
hope that's
there's,
5,
the
4,
female name.
3,
Because if it is, it's Amy Adams.
1. Haley Fouch,
Can
do
you
you
repeat
have
the
it?
question?
we were out of time.
I think we were out of time, unfortunately.
We already said 1.
I think we had already called 1.
Sorry.
Baseball doesn't have a
Those are the
clock.
rules.
He's not used to the count. Haley Fouch, did you have the answer?
Amy Adams.
Certainly is Amy Adams. They take a
Okay.
2-point lead unless Thomas had it.
Well, I started to erase what I was writing Amy Adams, but I didn't. I got Amy.
Didn't
guy on the full
quite
sorry, man.
get there. Does Kaylin have it?
Amy Adams.
It's a
She
3-point
does? Why are you
game.
looking so nervous? You have it on the board.
I had Jennifer Lawrence.
It is not Jennifer Lawrence.
Also a talented actor.
And it is 8-5, and so we've seen a lot of lead changes here. Scream Queens all of a sudden with a commanding round 1 lead going into our last question, where clearly anything can happen, especially in the world of romantic comedies. And your question is,
Wonder who this favors.
in the film 500 Days of Summer, what actress plays the role of Summer? Is that from...
The theme from Summer Place. It was a big hit
okay.
in like the late
There ain't no
1950s,
cure for the summertime blues. 5, 4, 3.
Seems to be my common
2,
guess for
1.
female.
Thomas,
Reese Witherspoon.
I got the 1. And,
I challenge!
unfortunately, you can't challenge the timing of the JTE.
We got to learn
rule.
how to count backwards from 5.
We got to rectify that. Hey,
Next
the
time.
good news for them is that they've actually saved 2 JTE rules in this round by not getting them in time for round 2 and round 3. Thomas, what was your answer?
Zoe Deschanel.
It is Zoe Deschanel. Does K1 have it?
Zoe Deschanel.
She certainly does. Does Matt have it?
I knew it was, but I needed that extra second to write it down.
He did not get it, so it is still a 3-point game. Can Haley extend it?
Zoe does know.
She certainly can. It is 10-6. As we get into
that was not well.
round 2, William, your take on that
And
first
no
round.
JTE rules would have saved me.
Queens right here, but you know what? The Gardenhosers are only 4 points behind. Now, that can be an insurmountable obstacle, but anything can happen in the second round. It all depends on who the wheel favors. Will fortune be kind to the Scream Queens?
Or if it wants to be an ass and not favor anybody.
Sports.
There is a sports movies category. There is a coming of age movies on there. There's a lot of fodder here that I think both teams are going to respond to. But like you said, it all comes down to the Wheel of Destiny in round 2. Competitors, here is round 2 is going to work. Each team is going to hear 6 questions from a specific movie category that is determined by the magical Wheel of Punishment / Destiny. You get 2 spins of the wheel should you need them. You spin a category you like on your first spin, great. We ask you 6 questions from there. If you don't like the category, we give you a mulligan. You spin it again. Whatever it lands on, you must answer 6 questions. Each question is worth 2 points. If you're not sure of the answer, you can ask us to give you multiple choice options, of which there are 4. That reduces the point value of the question to 1 point. Keep in mind, competitors, there is stealing in round 2. If one team confers with each other, they don't know the answer, it can be stolen by the opponents. Keep in mind your JTE rules that you have left and your challenges. William, because the Scream Queens are in a 4-point lead right now, 10-6 over the Gardenhosers, they have the option. Would you like to spin first, or would you like to defer to the Gardenhosers?
We're going to spin first.
They're going to spin first. Step right up to the wheel.
They're going to assert their dominance.
They're going to have Kaylin do it. Kaylin. There it is. Round and round it goes, William. You got to think they're looking for horror classics.
Well,
Could she get it there? Christopher Nolan movie.
Nolan is a director.
I don't think I've seen The Wedge on there before. I know it's been a category.
Keep Christopher Nolan or use your mulligan? They're on the fence. One thinks it's a good choice. We got to go to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Kaylin, what's the choice?
Take it.
We're taking it.
We're taking Christopher Nolan movies. William Bibbiani will be administering the Christopher Nolan questions.
All right, Scream Queens. Your category is Christopher Nolan, and your first question is thus. In The Dark Knight Rises, who played the character of John Daggett, who is a rival billionaire who employs Bane to take over Wayne Enterprises?
Can we do multiple choice?
You absolutely can. Your multiple choice options are A, Guy Pearce, B, Aidan Gillen, C, Ben Mendelsohn, D,
Ben Mendelsohn?
Cillian Murphy. Or possibly Cillian Murphy.
I believe it's...
I think it's C or D.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Can we hear those again?
1.
You can hear the answers
Certainly
one
can
more time.
hear the options again.
Your options are A, Guy Pearce, B, Aidan Gillen, C, Ben Mendelsohn, or D, Cillian Murphy.
I think it's C.
And we do need an answer in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Aidan Gillen?
Incorrect.
Gardenhosers can steal it.
Ben Mendelsohn.
Give him a point.
Yay!
They inch ever closer to the Scream Queens. Can our tickers take 6 questions of this magnitude, William?
There's so much suspense. Oh, God. Okay. All right, your second question. In Interstellar, who played Jessica Chastain's brother as an adult?
Multiple choice. Are these all going to be cast questions?
I don't know. I don't write them. Your answers are A, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, B, Casey Affleck, C, Topher Grace, or D, Armie Hammer.
Armie Hammer.
We need an answer in 5, 4, 3, 2,
Can you repeat those
1.
options?
Yeah.
That is a usage of the JTE rule.
By now it is, yeah. A, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, B, Casey Affleck, C, Topher Grace, or D, Armie Hammer.
1 JTE rule remains for the Scream Queens. And we do a quick count here. 5, 4.
Topher Grace.
That is
Incorrect. Gardenhosers.
I'm going to go with my older brother, Casey Affleck.
It is Casey Affleck.
Okay, so now it's a 2-point game all of a sudden. It should be the team getting the questions first, getting the points, but that's not the case thus far, William.
All right, your next question in the category of Christopher Nolan. What replicated objects lie in a wooded clearing at the opening of The Prestige? Might know this. They look like they're...
Light bulbs.
That's correct.
Top hats.
Top hats is the correct answer. And
Tied at 10. The
Oh
Scream
my
Queens
God.
going into this with so much momentum now find themselves tied with the Gardenhosers, who have not had a question asked them yet. However, in the good news for the Scream Queens, they still have 3 questions to get on the right track here in the world of Christopher Nolan movies.
In Christopher Nolan's directorial debut feature, Following, the main character is an unemployed what?
Can we do multiple choice?
You absolutely can. Your options are A, locksmith, B, construction worker, C, teacher, or D, writer.
Teacher. Don't know.
It makes complicated intellectual movies and they lead to complicated intellectual questions.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Locksmith.
Incorrect. Gardenhosers.
I believe Guy Pearce was an unemployed construction worker in Memento.
That would be right if that was the right movie.
It was actually
Well, we're just
It was
going to say
actually
construction
Following.
worker
Actually,
and forget
And
everything else.
also not a construction worker. It was a writer in Following.
Oh, we were all wrong. What else is new?
2 questions remain for Scream Queens.
Thank you. Oh, it's Marley and Me all over again.
Wow.
Oh, we just got Marley and Me.
I'd like to just dig a hole, please.
All right,
and
the
bury
Scream
myself in
Queens.
it. Thank you.
They have 2 opportunities to turn it around in round 2. Can they do it? Your next question in the world of Christopher Nolan movies.
Who plays the shell-shocked soldier that Mark Rylance rescues at sea in Dunkirk? Try saying shell-shocked soldier.
Shell-shocked.
Cillian Murphy.
That is correct. 2
2
points.
points.
Yay!
They're back. They got the smelling
back.
salts.
All right. Your last question in the
They
category.
hit the
Christopher
one in the
Nolan.
middle.
In which Christopher Nolan film will you find a ship named Endurance? They're gonna need so much endurance to get through this.
Oh, we need some
This-
energy
this-
bar sponsor.
This really knocked down
Or
punch
some
out.
sweet,
This
sweet
is-
alcohol.
I don't know if my
5,
heart can take
Do
it.
multiple choice.
Multiple choice. Your options are A, Batman Begins, B, The Prestige, C, Interstellar, or D, Dunkirk.
The Prestige.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Dunkirk.
That is incorrect.
Can they steal it?
Gardenhosers.
Interstellar.
Give them
That
a
is
point.
correct.
And we are down to a
Memento.
1-point lead for Scream Queens. And I'll say this, they got a 2-pointer right, and boy did they need it, because otherwise Gardenhosers would be entering round 2, their spin already with the lead, although they came into this at a disadvantage from round 1. Gardenhosers, you're riding a wave of luck right now. Who's your lucky charm to spin the wheel?
Well, I don't know if we have lucky charms, but I'll do it.
All right. It's going to get up and give it a spin here.
All that gardening is going to pay off with a mighty spin.
I think I lost the spin
Maybe.
rights when I answered that question.
You don't want to injure Henry Rowan Gardner's throwing arm with a useless spin here in a trivia game.
Will
The
they land on
useless
Thomas
wheel.
Ian Nicholas movies? Let's find out. Why do we have that on the wheel?
We have modern classics on the wheel.
Sports movies!
And they're wearing Cubs hats.
They're
This is what they
wearing
want.
sports.
They're spinning
I would
away
think.
from
Well, we're...
The crowd does not like that at all.
What?
The famed Henry Rowan Gardner spinning away.
What a
from
swerve.
sports movies, of which a couple of his flicks could have been
Oh, so we're
involved.
going to be Rookie of the Year questions.
It might be sports movies anyway, William. No.
Oh.
Will Smith
They should have been
movies is
shamed
what
with
they
sports
are
movies.
stuck with. All right.
They
So,
should have
your
been shamed with
category
sports.
Of Will Smith movies. And your first question is, Who plays Ray Embry, who offers to improve Hancock's public image in the movie Hancock?
I got to improve my public image.
You're guest hosting the show.
No.
So step number 1.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you, everybody.
We'll take multiple choice.
I can offer that. Is it A, Charlize Theron, B, Jason Sudeikis, C, Jason Bateman, or D, John Krasinski?
John Krasinski.
Charlize Theron.
That is incorrect. For the Steel Scream Queens.
Dang.
Jason Bateman.
Give him a point.
Whoa, we are back!
Nothing but stealing going on in this baseball-themed game here.
Oh, God, what if they get all their questions right now? My God, anything can happen.
Shut up, Biz.
We go back
get that a lot.
to the Gardenhosers, and your question number 2. In the film I Am Legend, what animated movie does Robert Neville know by and able to recite by heart?
I like animated movies.
They're movies that are drawn.
I guess
I like them too.
Multiple choice, please.
Just not
You
when
can offer
they're
that.
involved
Is it
in
A,
non-animated
Madagascar,
movies.
B, Shark Tale, C, Tarzan, or D,
Shrek?
Shrek?
Some of those are good movies.
Some of them are not.
5, 4,
Not a movie they know.
3.
Shrek seems like
Is
the
it
obvious
so
one.
meta that it's Shark Tale? I don't know.
It is
not.
No,
Meta,
okay.
meta for a steal.
Shrek seems like the
Queens.
easy
They get
answer.
3-point lead here if they get it.
Shrek.
That is correct.
They have a 3-point
I was gonna say.
lead.
And it was a horror
How can
movie,
you,
so
how
of
can
course
you
they knew it.
recite any of those other movies?
All right, back to the
Shrek at
Gardenhosers
least
as the
makes
theme of
sense.
stealing and me having to do a 5-second count continues. Your next question. In the movie Bad Boys, while looking through old photos with Marcus's wife, what makes Mike crack up? Josh McCougar know the answer to this.
Eh.
5, 4.
A high school
choice.
photo?
Is it A, Marcus's afro, B, Marcus's platform shoes, C, Marcus's short shorts, or D, Marcus's jerry curl?
Afro?
Afro.
1 point.
Yeah.
And the crowd does not give a shit.
No
They
one
got
cares.
it. The crowd is checked
Thanks,
out on
guys.
Gardenhosers. The
Should've
crowd doesn't
picked
get excited unless it's a
sports.
steal.
It makes sense. They're screaming for the Scream Queens, but they're guarded for the Gardenhosers.
They're guarding the Gardenhosers to a 2-point deficit now with 3 questions remaining. Here is your next one. Will Smith was in a movie in 2015 called Concussion. In that movie, who played the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell?
See, they got sports questions.
They got a sports questions.
Yeah. Shame on you.
Multiple choice, please.
Your options are, is it A, Alec Baldwin, B, Paul Reiser, C, Albert Brooks, or D, Luke Wilson?
Luke Wilson?
Can I get those options one more time?
We can provide that. Is it A, Alec Baldwin, B, Paul Reiser, C, Albert Brooks, or D, Luke Wilson?
Hush falls over the crowd.
B.
That is incorrect. It is not Paul Reiser. Do Scream Queens have the steal? 5, 4, 3, 2.
Alec Baldwin.
It is not Alec Baldwin. Looking for Luke Wilson, who looks nothing like the actual Commissioner
Nothing like
Roger
Roger
Goodell.
But who
Curiously
cares?
cast, his brother Owen Wilson would have been a more believable Goodell. My personal politics aside, we have 2 questions left in the realm of Will Smith movies. Your next query is, who played the evil Dr. Arliss in the movie Wild West?
How do I not know
It's,
this?
Kenneth Branagh.
2
2
points!
points!
We are tied! After all
I
the
don't know how I didn't know
after
that.
all the stealing, after all the backstabbing, after all the countdowns, after all the JTE rules, we go to the last question in round 2 for the Gardenhosers in the category Will Smith, and we are all tied up. They have the chance to take the lead, but with all the stealing we've seen, it could be the lead of the Scream Queens going into round 3. Your final question is, what Seinfeld regular guest star played Agent J's partner, Agent T, at the beginning of Men in Black 2?
Patrick Warburton.
Down from 5 this time?
Which I'm sick of doing it, so.
Yeah, I can tell. I can feel
Well, I
it.
mean, you got me.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
You
all
know,
counts
I
doesn't
didn't know
make
it was
sense.
translating on the
It's
camera.
really bad, and we're going to go to 5,
You nailed it.
4.
Patrick
What's
Warburton.
3?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, we
Well,
can.
why the hell not? Well, we got
It's your,
7 more seconds to kill.
I can do. Okay, which Seinfeld regular guest star played Agent J's partner, Agent T, at the beginning of Men in Black 2?
I'm really pissed. I can't pull it. I need multiple choice, but I know it.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, you good? Okay.
Is it A, Bryan Cranston, B, Wayne Knight, C, Patrick Warburton, or
Yes,
D,
Patrick Warburton.
It is Patrick Warburton.
It is a hard name to remember.
1
but
point. It is now the Gardenhosers lead. Going, but he was Putty.
Okay.
David
you don't remember
Putty
my
from
name?
Seinfeld
Hey,
and
wait a
Men in
minute.
Black 2. The Gardenhosers were able to pull it, so they have a 1-point lead going into round 3. Whereas we've already seen in this game,
Shoulda
anything
took
can and
sports.
will happen in round 3. Each team is going to have 3 questions asked to various team members.
But here's
the
the
first
deal.
question is aimed at one teammate.
Always
The next question will
pick
be aimed at the opposite
2.
team. The 5-point in the last question is the only question that we ask that the teams are allowed to confer with each other on. Your first question worth 2, your next one worth 3, and like I said, the last one is worth 5. So what we need now is a series of 3 numbers that you're going to give us that correspond to a movie category up here at our answer desk. Those numbers can range from 1 to 20. And I ask now for the Gardenhosers 3 numbers because you will be going first.
Well, I'm going to go with Henry Rowengartner's number 1.
I get it.
Let's go. 17.
I get it.
Yes.
It's Doug Williams' number and
Another number.
There are many of them.
Yes.
Let's do 4.
and 4.
Ah, like another sports person.
To 4. Okay, I'm sure there's many sports, but Jim
4 is the
Harbaugh,
number with
captain
sports
comeback
in
for the Colts. Scream Queens.
2.
That's a fair number.
Yeah, you pick 2. That means you win.
17.
Can't take 17 already
sorry.
taken by Gardenhosers.
16.
That is perfectly legal, and that is the number of Joe Montana. All right. So
Was Joe Montana like good?
Joe Montana was great. Joe Montana, a fantastic actor. We
So
go
16
to
is a good number, apparently.
the
Interesting.
Scream Queens are going to have their question asked to them first in the world of 2 points, and you chose number 2, and that corresponds up here at the answer desk to scores and soundtracks. Scores
My
and soundtracks.
favorite category.
You're very good at this. Which Scream Queens is
I'll
going to
take
take it? Haley's going to take that question. I have it for you right now. John Williams has won an Oscar for Best Original Score 4 times. Name one of the films that he won it for.
Jaws?
That's
2
correct.
points. And the Scream Queens
See, they know their horror, man.
have the lead. They know their horror, and she picked the one with Jaws in it.
What an aptly named team. Do
And
these guys garden with hoses?
We're about to find out
Great. All right.
if they can. The Gardenhosers select number 1. And number 1, kicking us off in this round 3, is the category of Sandra Bullock movies. Thomas Ian Nicholas has departed the stage.
Can't trust himself,
He
apparently.
doesn't want it.
He doesn't
want to take
want Sandra Bullock movies. So I guess that's going to leave Matt.
I don't want it either.
I've never seen anyone just leave.
He's out. We don't know if it's an injury. We're not sure what happened here. So Thomas has returned to the stage. And interesting, William, not only is he back, he is going to take on the 2-point question in the world of Sandra Bullock movies. And his question is, Keanu Reeves plays Sandra Bullock's love interest in what 2 movies?
You actually know this one, don't you?
Cannot confer with your teammates?
2 movies. Well,
2 movies.
Speed is obviously one of
Speed,
them.
yeah.
You got 6 seconds to get the other one. They have
5,
1 JT rule remaining.
Speed 2?
No.
Is that your final answer? Is that your final answer?
What?
We need an answer.
Pretty much telling you that it's wrong.
2.
So pick another movie.
1.
I don't have it.
The Lake House.
The Lake
I
House
would've never guessed that.
is what we were looking for. The Lake House. So now we stick with the Gardenhosers, and they're going to have to get number 17 right, and it's going to be all up to Matt to give them the lead, or else we'll have to go to the 5-pointer.
We need
Matt,
more time-traveling mailbox.
in the world of FedEx, I don't know if you can still make that sequel. The world of romantic comedies
Oh.
is your category.
joy.
Remember, you're answering this all alone. You cannot have help from your partner.
Okie dokie.
And your question is,
I don't think he'd be much
what
help, don't worry.
2003 romantic comedy about a young couple's honeymoon to Europe starred Brittany Murphy and Ashton Kutcher?
Ooh.
answer in 5,
Do I know this?
4, 3,
I have nothing.
2, 1. Looking for Just Married.
Oh, I was thinking a Little
Yes.
Black Book.
Married is
Glad I'm not playing.
the answer. And now we come to that
Third
most
round.
desperate of hours for Gardenhosers. You know, William, the Chicago Cubs have been in this situation multiple times in their history.
I did not know that.
But
And
unfortunately,
they always
like Ernie
choke,
Banks,
though.
the Gardenhosers can't say, let's play two. This is their game today, and they could lose it right now if they do not get their 5-point answer correct.
Is Ernie Banks a sports person?
He's one of the greatest baseball players of all time.
Nice.
Mr. Cub.
Good for him.
Ernie Banks.
That's great. I think that's great.
And if they don't get it right, it could be considered a disaster, and their category
It'll be a
is
technical knockout.
disaster movies.
Oh, I see what you did.
Disaster movies for the Gardenhosers. And your question is,
And remember, you can confer on this one.
in Deepwater Horizon, which star of the show Jane the Virgin played the rig's navigation officer, Andrea?
Wow.
What is that show?
That's a question.
For 5 points.
They don't get this.
To give them the lead.
Total knockout for the Scream Queens in their debut.
We're going to go to 5, 4, 3,
Can you repeat the question,
2.
please?
Certainly can. 1, that is their last JTH rule because they tried to use them earlier to no avail.
That's right.
In Deepwater Horizon, which star of the show Jane the Virgin played the rig's navigation officer, Andrea?
Oh my God, there's so many
Go to
marbles.
5, 4,
I've never seen a movie or the
3,
show Jane the Virgin.
2.
Yeah.
Need an
Need a
answer
guess?
in 1 second?
1 second.
We got nothing. We got
And your winner, Scream Queens!
The Scream Queens have won it. We're looking for Gina
Yay!
Rodriguez.
Yay!
Gina
Yippee!
Rodriguez.
Hooray!
Where
Goody!
was Gina Rodriguez when they needed the Gardenhosers being classy losers and the Scream Queens taking it? William Bibiani. This match had everything.
You got
Twists,
hosed,
turns,
Tommy.
5-second
You got
countdowns.
hosed.
JTE rules may be the record for the most usages in one match, but at the end of the day, you could not ask for a more competitive game between two very up to the mission, I'd say,
Just
opponents.
up and down. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. Or zebra is black with white stripes or white with black stripes. Is baseball a sport? I don't even know anymore.
Cats and dogs living together.
Mass hysteria.
Somebody who adopts a lot of friendly kittens and dogs is backstage right now with the post-show interviews. We turn it over to Miss Jen Sturger. Take it away, Jen.
Congratulations, Scream Queens. Pulled out the win. That was very neck and neck, though. You got to admit, they gave you a run for your money for the
very
first 2 rounds.
Interesting.
Yeah, for sure. We had an early lead, and then we kind of fell back a little bit, but we got it back.
Yeah, that Nolan category threw me, definitely. That was brutal. I'm glad they got Will Smith, though, because I know that pretty well.
Do you regret at all not respinning?
Absolutely. I like to watch the game, and I've seen the Nolan category and done really well with it before, so that's why I was like, I think this is safe. We don't want to get opponent's choice or something. But yes, absolutely, I regret not spinning again.
Yeah, the cuts just keep getting deeper, the more competitions we have. So, I mean, definitely you didn't hit horror, which, I mean, I think everyone in the audience was hoping you would, because that would be an amazing match to watch you guys, get a category that you thrive at. Were you a little disappointed?
A little bit. We definitely would have crushed it with the horror category. But
She's a horror trivia monster. Like, I know my stuff, but she's unstoppable.
But you guys pulled out the Jaws in round 3.
Thank
Were
you.
you feeling pretty good about yourself?
I did
I
too.
was glad.
Go
it
celebrate
was
for
one
me?
Of those moments where you're right up against the wall of your
No.
brain melting, and I was like, oh my God, he's made so many scores. Which is the one? And I'm so glad that we talk about Jaws incessantly. So I was like, we just had a conversation about this.
just had a 3-hour conversation for fun about Jaws the other day.
You guys sound like so much fun to hang out with. So tell me, ladies, who do you want next?
Who do we want next?
Who do we want next? So we love the ladies on the Shire Wolves. They are some fierce competitors, though, but we love them and respect them and would love to go up against them. I love the guys on Wild Berries. I think they would be an absolute blast.
No,
Yeah, Shire was
that's
really
got to
awesome.
be the other
Girls
team.
on girls, which I think would
There
be
ain't nobody else they can play. It's like
No, I
once they
think
play
if
the
anything,
wild berries,
the
they're
wheel proved
complete.
today that it really determines the outcome of these matches. I've seen really amazing competitors get something that they're not great at, and it just totally changes the outcome of a match that we all thought in our brains was, yeah, that's a no-brainer. So ladies, you put on a fantastic show today, and we are really excited to see what you guys continue to do in this league.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love to come back and try it again.
Kick ass a little harder, hopefully.
I think we can make that happen. Back to you guys. Guys, what happened out there?
We pretty much played our first Schmoedown match kind of like Henry Rowan-Gardner played his first big league game, or maybe like his little league game, really, where he threw the ball out of the the wrong direction. That's where we went, the wrong direction.
We need to go and break our arms, and then we'll be back.
Oh, that's a little intense strategy for next time. But tell me, how did it compare to playing each other on the app?
Well, I'm better at the app than he is.
I'm 0 for 12 against Matt. We actually played online because he lives in Vegas and I live in LA. So we did like the random match, and I guess we were the only two people on at 2 a.m.
So yeah, they kept random.
So I was 0 for 12. So I feel like I was an okay teammate. I had some answers. I had some really probably what they're calling the worst answer of all time. The Guy Pearce memento when they're talking about the wrong movie.
No, I think that people were actually expecting him to be much stronger at trivia, but I think you came out and really proved yourself, considering it was your first time out there. Now I noticed you guys came out with put sunglasses on. Was that part of the strategy?
That was because we were drinking last night.
We're slightly hungover, to be perfectly honest.
A little bit, and it's early, but.
Yeah, those stage lights will do it to you. So round 2, I felt like you guys were just like fighters out there, but there was no defense. You guys were just kind of exchanging blows and hitting each other in the face.
Well, all offense.
But tell me, you guys answered actually more of their questions right than I think your own. What the hell happened?
Well, we know Christopher Nolan better than we know Will Smith.
For sure.
And you spun off sports movies?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I mean, well, Matt's,
Shame
here, if you couldn't tell by his accent. So sports movies is not his strong point.
Right, because we don't play sports where I'm from.
We play sports.
We have no sports. Sports? What is
You
this?
don't have any baseball.
We have no baseball, no. No. Baseball.
What a disappointment seeing that happen.
Yeah,
Oh
I mean,
my
we probably
God.
should have stuck with it. We probably would have been better.
Do you think you would have had a better shot at sports
I
movies
mean, I
than Will
definitely
Smith?
don't know Will Smith movies, so.
Obviously. So what do you guys want to do next? Do you guys want to come back? Who do you want to face?
Yeah, we definitely want to come back. We had a lot of fun today. It was really good.
Wild berries. Wild berries. There is no other answer.
Teams. That's who we'll go against. That's what we would like. I don't know. I like the Real Rejects. I think those guys are fun. We could do them. Would you want to do them? We can do that. Maybe the Kingsmen. We know the Kingsmen were not that good, so that could be great for us.
Everybody.
Those kind of guys. Definitely, we'll stay away from like above the line and people like that for a little while.
No, I feel like you and the Wildberries might be a fun match too.
Oh well, we'll do that too. That would be fun. That would be fun.
You hear that, Makuga? They're coming for you.
All right, William, you see right there the Gardenhosers. Look, nobody expected them to get as close as they did, at least according to them. They're very humble guys, but I know Matt was excited to be here. Thomas, we haven't seen the last of him. We're going to see this team again.
I think we're going to see both teams again real soon. I mean, the Gardenhosers right there, this is a respectable debut. This was back and forth again. This is one of the most competitive matches I've seen in a really, really long time. And the Scream Queens, my God, they just like the world is their oyster if they like oysters. I hope they're not allergic, but if they're not allergic, oysters for everybody.
I mean, the James River known to give great oysters where I'm from. If you look at the Scream Queens, they won this game, and they still had a very tough round 2 where they not only didn't get a lot of answers right, they got them stolen. Imagine if the Scream Queens had a good round 2, the category they're a little more comfortable with. They could blow out a
This
lot
match
of
could have
teams
been
in the
over
league.
10 minutes earlier.
I've never seen a team win with that many steals against them before. Like, that's how much they were able to pull this together at the end. Just, wow, what a debut.
What a debut and what a match we just had. Thank you all for tuning in and following us on our new Twitter feed at the Schmoedown. Make sure you guys check out the Facebook fan page, the movie Trivia Schmoedown, and the Schmoedown Rundown on iTunes. For Mr. William Bibiani, I am Mark Ellis. William, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you very much, and don't forget the Patreon.
He's a great salesman. Check out our Patreon.
He's a great reminding
Thank you to all
person.
of our current patrons. For him, I'm Mark, and we'll see you guys next time on the movie, a trivia, a Schmoedown.
Patreon!
Why has nobody shown me this picture before? Love it. Needs a little bit more belt on me, though.
Oh, what do we got here? Going through the old museum of memories?
Yeah, I figure since I'm champ, I'm just going to take things.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, that's how it worked for this.
Jason Inman from the plains of Kentucky.
There are no plains in Kentucky and Kansas.
Tennessee, Virginia, all the same to me. But look
Who cares?
You're a champion now. I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you.
Don't
That's
touch that.
good. But you know what? You've got a little bit of nostalgia going on. Nostalgia is the death of success because you get lost in it. And I can look in your eyes. You're lost in your own past. But I've got the future. Champ, come on in here. Try that on for size.
It's only a matter of time before this image gets changed up and that championship gets on my shoulder.
Look, lost boy. This belt staying where it is. It's not going anywhere. So why don't you go back to the plains of whatever geographical region you can't remember and just, just keep watching your movies. You'll be good. You'll be okay.
My favorite
Okay.
thing
I'll see you later.
about a cocky champion is that they're easier to beat. See you soon, baby.
Don't touch this belt.
Hashtag don't touch this belt.
Good luck at your garage sale.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to take this. Donica needs to remember turmoil next time.
What's up, Schmoedown fans? Frank here, and it is time for your Schmoedown breakdown. Even though this match was a low-scoring affair, it was still a back
You don't say.
through the first 2 rounds. In what is surely the most odd second round in Schmoedown history, we actually saw both teams answer more questions via steals than they did in their own category. Scream Queens answered just one of their own questions.
That's going to be an interesting chat on the rundown.
And the Gardenhosers, they answered 3 of their own questions and successfully stole 4 questions. However, in the final round, the Gardenhosers couldn't do enough to reclaim a lead, and the Scream Queens win 16-15. On the day, the Gardenhosers went 13 of 30, including going 4 of 5 in steals, and the Scream Queens, they went 14 of 26 for a 54% correct in their debut. If you want to find out other stats from around the league, check out SD Rundown Stats on Twitter, and don't forget to check out the Schmoedown Rundown every Saturday on YouTube.
That was a long rundown.
This has been your Schmoedown Breakdown.
Thank you, Frankie Stats Janish. Wow, that was fun for all the wrong reasons. I mean, my goodness, that was a lot of wrong answers. But I mean, they did. Yeah, it was competitive. It was that made it interesting. But yeah, it's gonna be weird to see where either of these teams go from here. It's gonna be interesting to try to find the right matchup for both of them. Obviously, Gardenhosers and Wildberries. There's no other match that makes sense. Just do it already, Christian. Just do it. Makes sense. The records line up. Just do it, as Nike would say. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this edition of JTH Reacts to the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. Always watch their content first. It's the right thing to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe to their content because that's even better. And follow the official Movie Trivia Schmoedown Facebook page, as they said. Follow the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Patreon page and support it if you can, as they said. Support the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Twitter page, as they pointed out also. Oh yeah, and you can follow me on Twitter too, at WWEJTH1. But until then, all the supporting and the following and all that is now concluded. Until next time, this is JTH saying, until next time, thank you for watching, and I bid you adieu.